You've likely heard of The Sixth Sense, the 1999 classic from M. Night Shyamalan. But did you know it wasn't only a major hit, it turned into a cultural milestone that's endured for decades. With 6 Academy Award nominations, the movie reshaped the entire horror landscape and still lingers in viewers' minds today. So what pushed it to become such a huge phenomenon? If you're a fan of The Sixth Sense, drop a 1 in the comments. If you still haven't watched it, leave a 0, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos. Starring Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment, The Sixth Sense showcased unforgettable acting. Bruce Willis added real depth to his character, while Haley Joel Osment, even at such a young age, mesmerized viewers as Cole, a child who could see the dead. Osment's talent for expressing pure emotion and innocence made the story feel both believable and chilling, playing a huge role in the film's major success. Only 10 years old when he auditioned, Haley Joel Osment showed up with impressive confidence. He didn't just arrive prepared, he delivered an intensely emotional reading that left a powerful impact. When he was asked to deliver a monologue, Osment stunned the room by facing the wall, tears running down his face, giving a performance filled with pure honesty. Casting director Ike Kaufman and Shyamalan were both genuinely blown away, especially by how Osment conveyed Cole's fragility and resilience without relying on any effects. Shortly after that audition, the search for Cole came to an official end. No one else could express the character's emotions or inner life with the same truthfulness. The boy's profoundly powerful performance convinced Shyamalan and the entire team immediately. Osment didn't just show innocence. He added layers to the role, exposing the character's deep internal struggles. To honor that unforgettable moment, Shyamalan had the tie Osment wore during the audition framed and displayed in his office as a cherished memento. Before The Sixth Sense ever hit theaters, Bruce Willis had already signed on with Disney to star in a movie titled The Broadway Brawler. But the production quickly ran into major hurdles and setbacks. Willis wasn't only the lead actor, he was also a producer, giving him substantial creative authority over the entire project. Things completely unraveled when Bruce chose to dismiss most of the crew, including the director, only 3 weeks into filming. The abrupt overhaul of the production staff created major tension with Disney. Everything spiraled, and in the end, the studio shut the entire project down. The collapse hit Disney with a massive $17.5 million loss. As part of the agreement, Bruce Willis was held financially accountable for the shortfall. To make up for the damage caused by the Broadway Brawler, Willis agreed to a contract to star in 3 more movies for the studio. A portion of his pay from those films would help offset Disney's financial losses. The movies included Armageddon, The Sixth Sense, and The Kid. Because of this agreement, Bruce Willis not only met his obligations, but also achieved huge success, especially with The Sixth Sense. The film didn't just help him settle the deal, it also earned him an impressive $10 million paycheck. Its success boosted his profile even further, cementing his place as a leading Hollywood star. Even though the situation began under tough circumstances, Bruce Willis pushed past the setback and rose to become one of the industry's most prominent figures. Even though it's tough to picture anyone other than Haley Joel Osment playing Cole in The Sixth Sense, the reality is that it almost didn't happen. Michael Cera, known for roles in Arrested Development and other projects, also auditioned for the part that launched Osment's career. Cera later shared that when he was only 10, he read for the role but didn't really understand the film's central idea. He admitted he performed the audition scene in a way completely different from what the director wanted. Rather than showing tension and heavy emotion, Cera delivered it with a lighter, upbeat tone when the character needed depth and a sense of inner turmoil. During the audition, Michael Cera remembered the moment when Cole cries and hands a penny to Bruce Willis's character. But he delivered it with a light, cheerful tone instead of the heavy emotion the scene required. This kept him from tapping into the film's core emotions, and his version lacked the depth the sixth sense needed. When he eventually watched the movie, Cera noticed the huge difference between his read and Haley Joel Osment's portrayal. He recalled the scene where Bruce Willis says, "I can't be your doctor anymore," and Cole, played by Osment, breaks down in tears and offers him the penny. Cera admitted he just couldn't reach that level of emotion during his own audition. This made him realize the role demanded a level of emotional depth and honesty he simply couldn't reach at that age. In a 2009 Esquire interview, Michael Cera explained that during his audition he played the scene with optimism, focusing on magic instead of the character's suffering and inner conflict. He acknowledged that while the film required raw, heavy emotion, he approached it with a bright, hopeful tone that clashed completely with the story's heart. Even though he didn't get the part, Cera walked away with an important lesson about truly understanding a character's emotional foundation and deeper purpose. In The Sixth Sense, director M. Night Shyamalan and cinematographer Tak Fujimoto cleverly employed the color red as a subtle visual language, creating a hidden code that viewers could sense even if they didn't fully recognize it. It wasn't literal, it was symbolic. Red served to signal connections between the living and the supernatural, or to highlight moments of heightened emotion and tension. Throughout the movie, red items like the doorknob, the solitary red balloon, or Cole's wax saint figurine were never mere props, they carried meaning within the story. These visual cues play a key role in signaling supernatural presence, helping viewers sense when the ghostly world is encroaching on reality. They act like a kind of cinematic Morse code, letting the audience feel tension and looming danger before fully grasping what's happening. Achieving the perfect red wasn't easy. To make sure it appeared at exactly the right moments and had maximum effect, the crew ran 15 separate tests to nail the shade. They carefully adjusted it to stand out vividly against the film's intentionally muted icy blue palette, which enhanced the chilling otherworldly atmosphere. This made sure the red instantly caught the eye and created a sense of unease. Shyamalan used the color as a potent signal for the supernatural, or for moments when the living and the dead intersected. It didn't just intensify dramatic scenes, it amplified the film's suspenseful, chilling atmosphere. By using red with such subtle precision, Shyamalan tapped directly into the audience's subconscious, allowing them to sense danger even in the tiniest details. Shyamalan's use of red wasn't just for style, it was essential to the story and the film's mood. The color created tension right from the start and kept viewers on edge throughout. It was one of those subtle but incredibly powerful details that added depth and drama without leaning on cheap jump scares. To preserve all the surprises and shocks in The Sixth Sense, Shyamalan and the production team took extraordinary measures to keep everything under wraps, even from the movie's star, Bruce Willis. They decided not to give Bruce the full script. Instead, he received a version with the final 10 pages removed. This prevented any leaks about the ending, making sure the twists hit audiences with maximum effect. The actual ending was locked in a password-protected digital file accessible only to a small number of crew members. This level of secrecy was part of a careful plan to protect the film's surprises, and the producers made sure Bruce Willis and other actors couldn't see key plot points until the movie was fully finished. Even crew members weren't allowed to talk about crucial plot points like the wedding ring or important details such as the hospital monitor during automated dialogue replacement sessions. This kept everyone, including supporting actors, completely in the dark about the big twists. To help preserve the surprise, Bruce Willis recorded temporary lines designed to mislead the sound engineers. This was all part of a larger effort to keep information tightly controlled, ensuring that no one could figure out the ending before the film premiered. When the film finally premiered, Bruce Willis's genuine shock during the first screening perfectly mirrored the reaction Shyamalan aimed for, giving the audience complete surprise. Even without knowing the full details of his character's fate, Willis fully committed to the role. He trained intensely, even using his non-dominant hand to add subtle layers to his performance. This demonstrated his dedication and highlighted the unique challenges actors face when a script contains major twists. The scenes he filmed needed to remain ambiguous without revealing too much, making the production process even more demanding. Most people remember the iconic line, "I see dead people," from The Sixth Sense, but few realize it almost didn't make it into the film. During early test screenings and marketing surveys, the line was criticized as cheesy and lacking impact. Studio executives even decided to cut it from the script. Despite strong opposition from the producers, director M. Night Shyamalan stood his ground. He insisted on keeping it, arguing that its quiet, understated delivery was exactly what made it chilling. Shyamalan believed its simplicity was its true power, creating an air of mystery and a lasting impression. It became the defining moment of The Sixth Sense, showing that sometimes a brief line can leave a stronger impression than any long speech. The line wasn't just pivotal for the story, it emphasized the deep connection between Cole and Malcolm Crowe. Without it, the film might not have had the lasting legacy that cemented its place as a classic in audiences' minds. Though Donnie Wahlberg appeared for only about 10 minutes, he underwent a striking transformation to play Vincent, a tormented former patient of Malcolm's. To fully embody the character, Wahlberg made a dramatic physical change. This made his brief appearance even more striking and memorable. Donnie Wahlberg showed true commitment to the role. To portray Vincent authentically, he lost 43 pounds in just 5 weeks. Wahlberg remembered that M. Night Shyamalan emphasized Vincent's scene needed to serve as a powerful opening for the film. That motivated him to endure the physical challenges and concentrate entirely on bringing the character to life with honesty and respect for the script. To fully embody Vincent, Wahlberg went through an intense and demanding preparation process. He explained that without such intense preparation, he wouldn't have been able to handle the shoot. Wahlberg felt that to portray Vincent authentically, he needed to truly experience the character's pain and torment, not just act it. To lose the weight and get into character, he followed an extremely strict regimen. He moved to New York, staying in a friend's apartment without any money or credit cards. Wahlberg fasted for days, surviving on only vegetables and chewing gum before heading out. Once he reached Philadelphia, he even spent a night sleeping in a park. This grueling process tested Wahlberg to the extreme, highlighting both his dedication to the role and his professionalism as an actor. Donnie Wahlberg's transformation went beyond the physical. It was a deep personal sacrifice to give the most authentic performance possible. Playing Vincent required enduring not just physical strain, but also conveying the character's inner anguish, and Wahlberg delivered it flawlessly. His careful preparation and unwavering commitment resulted in one of the most unforgettable moments in The Sixth Sense. When M. Night Shyamalan completed the script for The Sixth Sense, he didn't simply shop it around to any studio. Instead, he set some firm conditions. He demanded that studios pay at least $1 million just to read the script, and the bigger requirement was that he had to be hired as the director. Although Shyamalan wasn't a well-known filmmaker at the time, he had complete confidence in the story and was willing to stake his entire career on it. When David Vogel, head of production at Walt Disney Studios, finished reading the script, he was so blown away by the story that he chose to purchase the script rights for $2.5 million without seeking company approval. Vogel wanted to avoid a bidding war, but his decision caused an uproar at Disney. The studio demanded he renegotiate the deal and relinquish some control. When Vogel refused, he was fired in July 1999, just weeks before the film's release. Despite costing him his job, The Sixth Sense went on to become a massive hit, earning over $672 million worldwide. Ironically, Disney had so little confidence in the film that they sold the production rights to Spyglass Entertainment. Disney's decision became even more regrettable as the film far surpassed everyone's expectations. M. Night Shyamalan is well known not only for directing, but also for making cameo appearances in his movies. In The Sixth Sense, Shyamalan initially had a much larger and more emotionally charged role. In the final cut, his appearance was trimmed to a brief scene as Dr. Hill, a pediatrician, asking about Cole's injuries at the hospital. The original version of the scene, however, was entirely different. He played a drugstore employee struggling with thoughts of suicide. This scene carried a much darker, more unsettling tone and highlighted Shyamalan's character in a raw, emotional breakdown. It also underscored that Cole could sense not only spirits, but the suffering of those around him, even if they weren't dead. After reviewing the footage, Shyamalan realized the scene didn't fully align with the film's overall tone. It risked distracting from Cole's emotional journey and shifting attention away from the main story. On top of that, Shyamalan felt Cole's performance in this particular scene wasn't quite strong enough. He chose to cut the scene and kept only a brief cameo that wouldn't pull focus from the film's central message. While this wasn't the biggest change during production, it highlighted Shyamalan's sharp filmmaking instincts. He understood the importance of preserving the story's integrity over showcasing himself, even though a larger role could have drawn more attention. Still, Shyamalan didn't abandon the idea of appearing in his films. He continued making cameo appearances in his later projects, following the tradition of Alfred Hitchcock. In The Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis went the extra mile to protect one of the film's biggest secrets. Even though he's naturally left-handed, he had to learn to write with his right hand for the role. You might be wondering why, and it all comes down to Malcolm Crowe's wedding ring. In the script, the ring on his left hand is a key detail that subtly hints at the shocking truth Malcolm Crowe has been dead for some time. If you find this fascinating, drop a 1 in the comments and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to uncover more amazing secrets from classic films. If viewers noticed small details like the fact that Malcolm no longer wears his ring after the crucial shooting scene, it could reveal the truth about his death. To prevent this, Shyamalan and the production team meticulously accounted for every element, no matter how minor, to avoid tipping off the audience. To help maintain the secret, Bruce Willis trained himself to write with his right hand instead of his natural left, even though it felt awkward. This ensured the wedding ring never appeared on camera, even in moments when it wasn't on his hand during key scenes. This subtle and clever approach is a perfect example of how filmmakers go to great lengths to keep major twists under wraps. Bruce Willis's performance plays a crucial role in shaping the film's haunting, introspective tone. The journey of his character Malcolm Crowe is portrayed with a distant, almost ethereal quality, imbuing the story with a pervasive sense of sorrow. While this might not be obvious on a first viewing, the film's subtlety rewards repeated watches. These careful details not only make the final twist more shocking, but also enrich the story's emotional depth. Clothing can be a powerful storytelling tool, especially in suspenseful films like The Sixth Sense. If you watch Malcolm Crowe's wardrobe closely, you'll notice something unusual. For most of the movie, he wears nearly the same outfit: a blue shirt, a maroon sweater, and a brown coat. This isn't a random or careless choice. It's a purposeful clue from director M. Night Shyamalan hinting at Malcolm's death. What's particularly striking is that after he's shot, he never changes his clothes, symbolizing that he's permanently stuck in that moment. Even with the general consistency of his wardrobe, subtle changes appear throughout the film. At times, Malcolm isn't wearing his coat or the sweater is missing. These minor shifts might seem trivial, but they serve as a metaphor for his ghostly existence. This wardrobe variation mirrors how spirits are often depicted in movies, trapped in limbo, unaware of their true state, and continuing their routines as if nothing has changed. These hidden details lie right before the audience, and noticing them adds extra layers of intrigue and depth to the story. Shyamalan's costume choices aren't just meant to mislead viewers. They're a smart way to convey key information. Malcolm's outfit reflects the unchanging nature of his existence and highlights his inner struggle, showing how he's trapped in the cycle of his own life. Meanwhile, the line "I see dead people" became instantly iconic, etched into pop culture, and repeated by audiences for years. People whispered it, dramatically imitated it, and it remains one of the most memorable quotes from the film even today. During early screenings of The Sixth Sense, this line nearly gave away the film's biggest secret. Producer Frank Marshall worried that Haley Joel Osment's chilling performance, combined with the slow zoom on Cole's face, might mislead viewers into thinking Malcolm was among the dead. Marshall felt the shot lingered too long, almost pointing the audience toward the twist. He suggested Shyamalan either shorten or alter it, but director M. Night Shyamalan fully trusted his vision and chose to keep the scene exactly as he had planned. Shyamalan stuck to his choice, believing it was essential for guiding the audience's emotions. Surprisingly, during test screenings, viewers didn't catch the major hint the scene was signaling. Even though the line "I see dead people" became a standout moment, most didn't grasp the hidden truth within it. The shot and line stayed exactly as planned, keeping the film's twist under wraps. Despite early concerns about spoiling the secret, the line ultimately became one of the most iconic and chilling moments in cinematic history. It was the careful subtlety and masterful craftsmanship of the scene that made it so unforgettable. Even when the truth was practically whispered to viewers, most didn't catch the twist. Without this line, The Sixth Sense might have lost one of its most vital and memorable moments. One of the strangest behind-the-scenes facts involves the film's soundtrack, which nearly gave away the biggest secret. Imagine it's 1999 and you walk into a music store eager to buy the Sixth Sense soundtrack before seeing the movie. You pick up the CD, flip it over, and see a track titled "Malcolm is Dead," almost spoiling the entire twist before the film even begins. Even though Shyamalan and his team went to great lengths to keep the ending under wraps, the soundtrack's track list largely slipped under the radar. The final piece on James Newton Howard's score, titled Malcolm, is Dead was so blunt that anyone who listened to the CD before seeing the movie could have easily spoiled the twist. This tiny but critical detail had the potential to ruin the entire viewing experience. Although the soundtrack came out just weeks after the film's release, the track's title was almost like a hidden trap for early listeners who hadn't yet watched the movie. Everyone involved in the production had to keep the secret, yet a small detail, like the track title, nearly gave it away. This became one of those unusual slip-ups in film history, as it could have fully revealed the twist. Interestingly, the title, Malcolm is Dead, wasn't a random error. It reflected the intense emotions carried by the movie's score. James Newton Howard aimed to capture the tension and feeling of the story through his music, and the title was his way of expressing that. Fortunately, The Sixth Sense still managed to preserve its surprise until the very end, delivering the twist and shocking audiences just when they thought they had it all figured out. When people think of The Sixth Sense, they usually remember its dark, tense atmosphere and the emotional intensity. But once the cameras stopped rolling, the mood on set was much lighter, and that was largely thanks to Bruce Willis. Despite the film's psychological depth and somber tone, Willis brought a vibrant energy to the set, helping to make the environment fun and relaxed. Known not only for his acting talent, but also for his humor and charisma, he consistently worked to keep spirits high. Willis often threw parties for the crew and even took on DJ duties during late-night gatherings, creating a sense of camaraderie amidst the intense filming process. These lighthearted moments helped the crew unwind and fostered a relaxed atmosphere where work bonding and fun all coexisted. One of the most memorable experiences occurred when Bruce Willis decided to introduce a young, inexperienced M. Night Shyamalan to drinking for the first time. Shyamalan recalled that Willis would joke around handing him small glasses of alcohol and calling them candy. Being in his early 20s and not wanting to seem awkward in front of the star, Shyamalan went along with it, only to wake up the next morning feeling a mix of regret and embarrassment. Today, Shyamalan looks back on those moments with a smile, remembering them as an unofficial part of his Hollywood journey. These behind-the-scenes stories add an extra layer of intrigue and warmth, making The Sixth Sense feel more personal and approachable, even as the film explores profound and dramatic emotions. Bruce Willis, beyond being the lead star, was also the anchor of the set. With his humor and team spirit, he helped ease tension and keep the cast and crew in high spirits throughout filming. Bruce Willis's presence not only made the set more comfortable, but also contributed significantly to the success of The Sixth Sense. One of the film's most haunting moments, however, didn't make it into the final cut. In a Reddit Q&A, Haley Joel Osment revealed that there was a terrifying hospital scene in which Cole walks down a corridor filled with distorted ghosts. The scene was ultimately removed from the movie. According to Osment, it was filmed in a long, narrow hallway designed to look like an abandoned hospital, and the ghosts were deeply unsettling, with some appearing to have lost limbs. The open wounds and the ghosts reaching out toward Cole as he walked down the corridor made the scene not only visually terrifying, but also filled with surprise and tension. However, director M. Night Shyamalan chose to cut it because it was too intense and risked shifting the film's tone. Including, it would have turned The Sixth Sense from a psychological thriller into a more conventional horror movie, which Shyamalan deliberately avoided. The film was never intended to rely on cheap jump scares. Its focus was on subtlety, emotional depth, and a profoundly moving narrative. According to Osment, Shyamalan wisely cut the scene because it would have lessened the power of what remains unseen. In The Sixth Sense, the horror doesn't come from explicit gore, but from what the audience imagines. The tension and dread are fueled by the viewer's own mind, making the film even scarier. Shyamalan ultimately decided that the story would be more powerful if the audience was left to envision the terrifying moments themselves, rather than having them presented directly on screen. The deleted hospital scene helped preserve the film's essence, where fear and tension arise from subtle, unseen moments, making the movie far more haunting. More than 2 decades after The Sixth Sense was released, most of the cast admitted they didn't realize how scary the film truly was until they saw it themselves. One of them was Misha Barton, who played Kira Collins, the ghostly girl who appears vomiting under Cole's bed, an unsettling scene that both shocked and terrified audiences. While the scene was frightening on screen, it also created a similar sense of dread during post-production. Misha Barton was only 13 years old when she appeared in the film, and she recalled that the moment she realized how terrifying the scene was came while recording her lines in the ADR automated dialogue replacement studio in New York. She shared, "My little sister was in the room with me and she kept screaming like crazy. You know, in an ADR studio, you're not supposed to make noise, but my sister was yelling. My mom had to take her out. The experience was so intense that the crew had to pause the session to make sure Barton's sister wasn't overly disturbed." This incident highlighted just how authentic and terrifying Misha Barton's performance truly was. The scene was so effective that it didn't just frighten the audience, it even scared her own family. While Misha Barton was slightly startled by the reaction, she still considers it a proud moment in her career. She had conveyed such raw terror and emotion that even her loved ones couldn't help but be frightened. This moment highlights her remarkable acting talent at such a young age. Even today, the scene with Kira remains one of the most terrifying and haunting moments in The Sixth Sense. The fact that it could still evoke fear during post-production underscores just how impactful and chilling the performance truly was. One of the creepiest effects in The Sixth Sense wasn't created with CGI, it was entirely practical. The scene where Cole sees the dead with his breath visibly turning white in the air became one of the film's most haunting images. Instead of adding this effect in post-production, director M. Night Shyamalan opted for a traditional approach. According to Haley Joel Osment, who played Cole, the crew covered the set with a large plastic sheet and pumped in cold air, dropping the temperature below freezing. This method allowed Cole's breath to appear on camera, naturally creating a striking and eerie visual effect. However, this approach created significant challenges, as it was extremely cold, and many of the shots required Osment to wear only his underwear, making it difficult for him to stay in the scene for long. Shyamalan explained that at the time, CGI technology wasn't advanced enough to create the breath effect in a way he was satisfied with. The effect wasn't just digital, it relied on real-life elements, with Osment enduring the cold to physically produce visible breath. This traditional method proved highly effective, and Shyamalan believed that, while CGI could have replicated the effect, the realism it brought to Osment's performance made it feel far more authentic. When the audience sees the white breath escaping from Cole's mouth, it immediately signals that something is wrong, that something from another world is drawing near. This subtle yet powerful image heightens the tension and emphasizes the contrast between Cole's perception and the real world. The shot leaves a lasting impression on viewers, making it unforgettable long after the scene ends. Many scenes in The Sixth Sense were filmed at an old convention center in Philadelphia, Shyamalan's hometown. By the time production began, the center had already been out of operation. It turned out to be the perfect location, with its long, echoing hallways and classic architectural details, creating a space that was both beautiful and haunting, ideal for the film's atmosphere. While the setting contributed to the eerie tone on screen, it also affected the actors in real life. Haley Joel Osment, who played Cole, recalled that the vast, empty marble hallways reminded him of the chilling atmosphere in The Shining. He also mentioned that President JFK had given a speech there during his 1960 campaign, and the grand, ancient marble staircases leading down into the basement only heightened the unsettling feeling. The eerie atmosphere of the location clearly affected everyone on set. Misha Barton, who played Kira, often felt an unsettling presence, describing sensations of being watched or chilled even when the air conditioning was off. Her experiences made her genuinely wonder if the building was haunted. It wasn't just her other crew members reported strange occurrences during night shoots, including unexplained noises and creaking sounds, which added a layer of real-life tension to the already suspenseful filming environment. These experiences helped reinforce the film's haunting mood even off-camera. Shyamalan's decision to shield Toni Collette's audition tape from Disney proved to be a masterstroke. He knew her raw talent and emotional range were exactly what the role of Lynn required, regardless of her current appearance. By advocating for her privately, Shyamalan was able to bypass studio hesitation and ensure that the character would be portrayed with authenticity and intensity. Colette's eventual performance became one of the most praised aspects of the film, bringing emotional depth and realism to the mother-son relationship, which is central to The Sixth Sense's haunting and heartfelt narrative. The wig added another subtle layer to Colette's character, helping her embody Lynn without distractions from her real-life appearance. It wasn't just a cosmetic choice, it reinforced the realism of the character while keeping the focus on her emotional journey as a mother struggling to connect with her son. This behind-the-scenes detail also highlights Shyamalan's resourcefulness, repurposing a wig from Velvet Goldmine to serve the story rather than letting studio concerns or superficial appearances interfere with casting the right actor for such a pivotal role. Colette found these repeated numbers unsettling, especially since they appeared night after night. She described the experience as eerie and almost otherworldly, adding to the sense of mystery surrounding the film's production. Many people who have reported seeing repeating numbers interpret them as signs or messages, sometimes associated with heightened intuition or spiritual presence. For Colette, these occurrences seemed to mirror the film's themes of the unseen and the supernatural, blurring the line between her role in the story and the strange experiences she encountered while filming in Philadelphia. These uncanny experiences that Colette went through added an unexpected layer of authenticity to the production, almost as if the eerie atmosphere of the film bled into real life. It's fascinating how the behind-the-scenes events mirrored the movie's themes of the unseen and the unexplained. From the deliberate costume choices, practical effects, and subtle acting details, to these strange personal experiences, every element of The Sixth Sense, both on and off screen, helped create a haunting and memorable cinematic experience that continues to captivate audiences decades later. Absolutely. The Sixth Sense earns its reputation as a haunting masterpiece. Every subtle detail from costume choices to the unseen horrors creates a tension that lingers long after the credits roll. Its brilliance lies in how it blends psychological depth, suspense, and emotional resonance, making the audience question what's real and what isn't. Even the behind-the-scenes stories like the practical breath effects, the deleted hospital scene, and the strange experiences of the cast add layers to the film's mystique. It's the combination of careful craftsmanship and subtle storytelling that makes the haunting atmosphere so unforgettable. If I had to ask viewers like you, did these behind-the-scenes secrets make the film even more impressive? Leave a 1 if yes and a 0 if you haven't watched it yet.